Today we will tell you the story of Kaya, a young Cree girl and her grandfather, Jumshoom Allen. They will be having a Sunday morning stroll in different scenes, representing the Cree way of life, daily activities, and cultural practices. Kaya will be talking to Jumshoom about an NMCA. Their discussions will be around four themes: management, culture, opportunities, and ecosystem. So, here's our story. We will talk about management. Kaya asks, Jumshum, in a national marine conservation area, can we still fish, hunt, and trap? Jumshum Allen replies, yes. This national marine conservation area allows for Cree treaty rights for harvesting, hunting, fishing, and trapping. Jumshum Allen then shows Kaya the sharing circle fostering communication, connection, and knowledge sharing with people from Parks Canada and members of the community. He explains that governance and management of an NMCA would be a Cree-led approach that respects Indigenous rights and knowledge. A Cree man asks about the advantages of an NMCA for the Crees. What's in it for us? He asks. Another Cree woman explains that the NMCA protects their marine environment and key habitats and sites that are important to Cree culture and way of life. Someone else in the sharing circle adds that an NMCA would be managed by a board where Crees and Government of Canada have equal representation. Jumshum explains to Kaya that access to some areas will be restricted to visitors to protect the environment and allow the Crees to continue their traditional activities in peace. He then shows her a list of industrial and commercial activities that would not be allowed because they are harmful for the environment. Nomshoom, he adds, there are restrictions, but they do not affect Cree traditional uses, which would be allowed everywhere. Jumshoom Allen and Kaya start discussing the influence of an NMCA on Cree culture. Suddenly he becomes nostalgic. He says to Kaya with shining eyes, I was there when you had your walking out ceremony. I could never forget it. I hope you will have the same Cree customs with your grandchildren. Through this wish, he expresses the hope that the EUSG will survive and remain home for future generations. He also hopes that Cree cultural practices and traditions would continue and be passed down to the youth. Jumshum talks to Kaya about several cultural practices and the importance of passing them down to the youth. He believes that the National Marine Conservation Area would empower the Crees in the preservation of knowledge and heritage for future generations. Kaya is not sure she understands, and she wonders about the way an NMCA would promote and help maintain the Cree way of life. But while walking near a boat with fishermen, she overhears their conversation. Such cultural programs could see Cree youth paired with professionals such as archaeologists, researchers, and other types of professionals with training and field experience out on the bay. This could provide Cree youth with opportunities to learn about new career paths and new ways of understanding their own culture. The Sunday morning walk of our two friends continues. Kaya asks, Jumshum, would the National Marine Conservation Area help people looking for jobs in our community? He replies, yes, the NMCA could help our people and build a future for environmental projects that could help our community. You and your friends, one day, may be the ones protecting the marine environment. Our two friends imagine themselves in the future. Kaya thinks that visitors spend their summer vacation in a campground created for that purpose. Some of them are kayaking in the bay, discovering Cree waters, flora, and fauna. A young Cree saying, my favorite part as working for a Cree ecotourism guide is that I get to share Cree culture and the beauty of the marine area with visitors. On a boat, a fisherman complains about geese not coming in big numbers like they used to. He says, the NMCA would help us Crees protect and monitor species and habitats that are important to our traditional activities. On another boat, a tour guide tells visitors, we shared our knowledge with Parks Canada and researchers. Our knowledge exchange can support the monitoring of fish reproduction cycles and their habitat, especially with climate change. Our final story is about the marine ecosystem and the circles of life in EUSG. Kaya and Jumshum Allen are represented on a smaller scale to show their place in the world is the same as other species. Kaya asks, how can we protect our land? How does an NMCA help us and helps animals and plants? Jumshum Allen replies wisely, and in his reply lies the way Crees envision the environment. He says, protecting habitats and wildlife is essential to protecting the Cree way of life. Nature, water, fish, plants, and trees don't have a voice. We are part of the ecosystem, and the health of our environment and well-being is interconnected. It is our responsibility to give nature a voice. If nature is well, so are we. For the Crees, the marine area serves as a space of respectful coexistence among people, flora, and fauna. Based on a program of management, monitoring, research, and knowledge exchange, an NMCA would consolidate the Cree approach in the protection of nature. Kaya imagines a young Cree saying to a group of visitors, "I'm taking part in a research project on fish populations. My dream is to become a marine biologist to help understand the changes to the environment and to help restore and monitor marine areas." And a young tallyman saying, "The NMCA created job and training opportunities such as the Guardian program. As a trained guardian, I'm using what I learned from my father, who is a coastal tallyman, to help safeguard marine habitats and wildlife in the marine area." In sum, what these stories tell us that if an NMCA, if adopted, would support the Cree leadership in the protection of the marine environment and in promoting their culture and their way of life.